just you see it, and then
Are we ready? Everybody, welcome to this meeting of the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board for February the 4th, 2026. Thank you for coming out on a very cold night, and we will begin with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Just a couple of announcements, one is that we have the historical in our Rev 250 lecture series for the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. There's a lecture tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center on food riots in Poughkeepsie during the American Revolution by Dr. Versmuth, who is the head of the Hudson River Valley Institute. So free, open to the public if you'd like to learn about food riots during the Revolution in Poughkeepsie tomorrow at 7. And the other is that after approval by the board, we've just re-signed our agreement with Mutt's Mansion, which is the designated shelter for dogs that are lost or abandoned dogs in the town. And I just wanted to thank them for what they do and to say that we have some animals that are lost, and then there's a period, when people can go pick up their dogs there. But we have, sadly, a lot of abandoned animals, and we've had a lot of abandoned dogs this winter. So they have taken a number of dogs for us, and they are looking for adoptions. The way it works is that if a dog isn't claimed for a 2-week period, then Mutt's Mansion takes that dog and looks for a new home. So they have a wonderful webpage at Cares of Dutchess County, which is their arm that does the adoptions, and there's a page of incredibly sweet and wonderful dogs there who are looking for new homes. And I think in the supervisor's e-newsletter we're going to be featuring a dog each week so that people can hopefully, so these folks can find their forever homes. They're sweet dogs. There was a pit bull mother who had just given birth and who was tied up outside a few days ago. And the police helped her get inside and get warm. We don't know what happened to the puppies, but she's now safe at Mutt's Mansion, and Adrienne, the ACO, took her down there yesterday. So in this weather, it's a particular issue.
We just forgot to do intros.
Oh, I forgot to do the roll. Now we should do the roll. Okay. That was my last announcement, was going to be that that board member Bill Reuter has the flu. I talked with him this afternoon. He sends his regrets, but he's under the weather, so we wish him well and hope he's better soon. And so let's do the roll now.
Perfect. Barbara Laird, Ward 2.
Shanta Dangaya, Ward 3.
Emily Watson, Ward 4.
Good evening, Ryan Sharp, Ward 5.
Ann Shersher, Ward 6.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Emily Spencer, Attorney to the Town.
Rebecca Edwards, Town Supervisor. Okay, we don't have any public hearings tonight, so we can begin with public comment on any item that's on tonight's agenda, and then we'll move to the regular agenda. So I move that we suspend the rules for public comment of up to 3 minutes on any item that's on tonight's agenda.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So the motion carries 6-0. Okay, so then the floor is open. We usually start with the people who were in the room, and then we move to people who are joining us on Zoom. So is there anyone in the room who would like to speak on any items that are on tonight's agenda? Okay, come on forward. And we have, you're welcome to share your name and your ward or where you live. That's optional, but it's up to you.
All right.
Oh my God.
You might want to sit down, and then we'll have the folks on Zoom will be able to hear you as well.
Wonderful, yeah. We might want to pull up another seat.
Yes, feel free to grab a couple more chairs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sam Ritchie. I'm a Town of Poughkeepsie resident, a parent.
Can you move the mic towards you? There you go, perfect. You have to kind of talk right into it.
Okay. Once again, my name is Sam Ritchie. I am a Town of Poughkeepsie resident, a parent, and community member. My daughter attends Star to Be Performing Arts, which operates in the Poughkeepsie Day School building. I want to start by saying I respect the board's authority to consider the purchase of this property. My comments tonight are not about opposing that decision, but about ensuring a thoughtful process for existing community programs. Star to Be is operating under an active lease that anticipates a sale and provides for continuity and notice. Nothing on tonight's agenda requires or authorizes immediate displacement of the program. From a community standpoint, Star to Be serves 150 local families per season, with students starting as young as 4 years old. These families rely on the consistency of this program, and many students are mid-season. I appreciate the town's willingness to engage in conversation about the future of this space. My request tonight is simply that the board support a clear, thoughtful process that preserves continuity for the children and families who rely on this program while those discussions move forward. Thank you for your time and your service to the community.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Julie Altamari, and I'm one of the owners of Star to Be Performing Arts, along with Teresa Podhurst. We've operated in this space since 2017 and entered into a formal lease arrangement in 2023. During that time, we've used the building multiple days a week for classes, rehearsals, and performances. As part of our lease obligations, we've maintained and invested in the theater, including stage improvements, curtains, lighting, and equipment in reliance on continued access to the space. Star to Be serves children from age 4 through adulthood, and when students age out, many return as assistants or staff through a work-study or apprenticeship model. It's not just a class, it's a long-term developmental pipeline for young people in our community. We appreciate the opportunity the town has extended to sit down and discuss options for the future. Our goal is simple: to work collaboratively toward a solution that preserves continuity for our students while aligning with the town's plans for the building. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Are you and Sweeney Todd?
She is.
Okay. I think there were performances last weekend and this coming weekend,
Yes.
right?
She's Mrs.
Break a
Lovett.
leg.
Thank you.
Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Caroline Collins, and I'm a junior in high school and a performer at Star to Be Performing Arts. I've been a part of this company for almost 11 years, which means Star to Be has been a constant in my life for as long as I can remember. This space is more than just where I rehearse. It's where I've grown up. It's seen me through some of my hardest times, and it's always been a place where I felt supported, challenged, and understood. I've worked with other theater companies in the past, and that has only reinforced how special Star to Be is, not just in its spectacular performance quality, but also in the beauty of its community. Star to Be is a family to me, a place where I learn not just how to perform, but how to work hard, stay disciplined, collaborate with others, and hold myself accountable. When times have been unpredictable for me and all the other students in today's day and age, my Saturday and Sunday rehearsals at Star to Be have always been a constant and a sanctuary from the uncertainty of the world. Having a permanent space for us to work and learn is essential because consistency is what allows programs like this to work. Being able to have a space where you can get on stage and perform throughout the whole rehearsal process alleviates students' anxieties around performing and is an incredibly special part of Star to Be. In other words, the beautiful consistency that Star to Be offers is only able to be developed when there is continuity in its location. We need a place where we can continue to build routines, trust, relationships, and progress over time. Losing access to a dedicated space would disrupt programs mid-season, break that sense of stability, and take away an environment that so many performers at Star to Be are so reliant on for a place to grow and belong. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes of ensuring a stable location for us to perform and rehearse. All I know is that if I grew up without my weekends at Star to Be and a consistent place to spend my weekends, I would not be who I am today. Julie Altamari and Teresa Podhurst are like second mothers to me. The other students are like siblings, and Poughkeepsie Day School is a second home. A permanent second home matters to not just me, but all my fellow cast members and friends. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are there other folks in the room who would like to speak? Yes, welcome.
Hi, my name is Kate Grants. First, I am a Poughkeepsie Day School parent. My daughters Greta and Margot.
You might want to, again, just so that the folks on Zoom can hear as well. Thank you.
Of course. My name is Kate Grants. I'm a Poughkeepsie Day School parent. My daughters Greta and Margot are in 5th and 2nd grade. I am also a PDS board member, and I chair the GROW campaign, which is the fundraising instrument that supports PDS's new chapter. Third, I'm a town of Poughkeepsie resident and an employee at Vassar College. PDS has been a Poughkeepsie institution for almost 100 years. It was founded in part by Vassar faculty and has been a leader in independent education in the Hudson Valley ever since. As we approach our centennial, PDS is excited to enter into this partnership with the town of Poughkeepsie. As we consolidate our school into Kenyon House, which we own, the sale of Gilkison offers new possibilities. Gilkison already has a gym, a state-of-the-art theater, thank you, Star to Be, sports fields, offices, flexible spaces, and a large industrial kitchen. Gilkison is a ready-made hub for recreation, civic services, and public programs. The town of Poughkeepsie gains a property that would cost far more than building a new facility and opens the door to expanding town programming. PDS will continue to enrich our Poughkeepsie community by attracting new families to the area, by offering a world-class education, while the town gains a modern shared space. Together, we're excited to make this new possibility happen. I also want to say that I also support the comments from Star to Be. My own children have their own lives enriched by their program, and we love that we've been part of your family for the past few years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Were there other folks here in the room who would like to speak to any item on tonight's agenda? Yes, Steve, welcome, and then we'll take, the next gentleman will be next. Welcome.
Hi, Steve Oskerly, third ward. Not really discussing the purchase of the Poughkeepsie Day School, but more the bonding of it. Originally, when it was proposed, I believe it was $6.8 million to buy it, and there was going to be minimal renovations, just need to put a few windows in, that it was kind of glossed over. Now, it's up to bonding of $13.2 million with, well, we hope the roof, we only have to do part of the roof, not at all. Has a condition report been done? And is that available?
Right. A building condition report is largely done. We need to do additional testing on the roof that requires the roof to be free of snow. And that the weather has not been helpful. So we have an initial, high-end estimate in the bond resolution with the expectation that when the snow is gone, we're going to have the opportunity to test further and, again, maximum, not minimum amounts.
Because if I go back to the report, is it Marshall report, or I get the name wrong sometimes, there seem to have been significant issues with the roofs and that. So I wouldn't hope that it's going to be less. I would not be surprised. And my concern is that the board seems to be rushing full speed ahead and before we have all the full information. There's appraisal services that seems to be after the fact, we're going to appraise and see what it's worth when you're moving forward. The other comment that I have is on the possible tax increase. I find it kind of amazing how 3 years ago, several of the board members were able to easily estimate how much taxes were going to increase for all the residents in town of Poughkeepsie if the previous board had purchased that property. Now it's, well, we don't know, we got to wait and see. Nothing's going to be in 2006. Well, that's obvious because tax rates have already been set. It's a concern that information is not forthcoming so the public in general can know, the true cost of all these projects. I'm not saying they don't need to be done, but I think the lack of transparency and information is concerning. And the last thing, and I don't know if it's appropriate in here, but it's related to the taxes, again, is the tax fairness review and how you're going to pay for things. Hoping that you're going to be able to raise more revenues different ways before you actually know, again, seems putting, the cart before the horse. I hope to get a raise next year or this year. Don't know if that's going to happen, but I can't take that to the bank. As well as the statement about our owners of the most extensive properties paying a fair share. Since the tax rate is the same for everybody, if somebody's house is worth $1 million, they're paying that same percentage as somebody else. To me, that's a fair share. And I don't think pitting people against each other is a very good thing to do. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Anyone else in the room who would like to speak? Yes. Welcome.
Good evening. My name's Andrew Bradford. And again, on this whole thing with the town building, the town hall building and all that, I really have to question all the costs that I'm seeing. I know several of the candidates up here, when they ran this past election, they were going for affordable housing and keeping tax rates down. Yet I'm seeing numbers tossed around of 50 million, 60 million, 90 million. By the time all this gets said and done, what is going to be the actual set cost? How much is that going to impact my property taxes? Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to print money. So, every week, every month, every year, I'm looking at, okay, where do I cut back? Because my taxes, for some strange reason, every single year keep going up. I've been here for pushing 30 years. Not once have my taxes gone down. Not once. They've always gone up. Now, I get it with salaries going up and all that. I've been involved in contract talks before myself. But I really have to question if this is the best course to go. I am 100% in agreement that the police department needs a safer, better building. I currently don't see any problems with this building, so why can't the town hall stay here and then either build a new town police department and courts department on some land that the town owns, or find another alternative that's not going to cost 50, 60 million. I mean, I'm working construction, so I know how cost and everything go. I just don't see the logic of moving the town hall out of here, spending a lot of money on a building you don't even own yet to fix that up to whatever standards you need, and then move the police department into this building and have to retrofit it for everything that they need. I would think it would be better to do one thing, get it done right. So right now, as it sits, I am not in favor of going to Boardman Road. I would like to see something else, and has that even been looked into?
It has, but I think probably it's better for us to wait, and when we get to those resolutions, all the board members can participate and talk, and can talk more about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, and one of them, I had this conversation with my wife before, and a couple of the people I've talked to are also totally against this going forward. But with this kind of an expenditure, why is that something that's being decided by 7 or 8 people instead of it going up for a town-wide vote? That's not like, every time we vote, there's a thing on the back there, shall we approve or not approve for the county library system? That's something that goes to the public to vote on. Mm-hmm. Why isn't something like this going up for the voters to vote on? I think there would be a lot more support for a project like that if the voters approved for it, instead of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on the board saying yes or no. I'm counting 8 because I know the one guy you said was out tonight.
Right. There are 7 of us, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That includes you?
That includes me.
Okay.
Yep. So.
Math wasn't ever one of my strongest suits, but.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And we will talk more about this when we get to that item on the agenda. Anybody else who wants to speak? Who's in the room? Anyone on Zoom who'd like to speak on items that are on tonight's agenda? Yes, Anna Shah, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Shaw. I am a town of Poughkeepsie resident, and I currently serve as the legislator for District 5 in town of Poughkeepsie. I would like to thank the board and everyone for your time and effort in the police and the court project. I wanted to express my support for this project because it is responsible, carefully studied, and overdue. For decades, the town has relied on public safety facility built on an uncapped landfill that is sinking and requires constant, expensive repairs. Continuing to invest taxpayer dollars in a structurally failing building is neither prudent nor sustainable. Our police officers, court staff, and the residents they serve deserve a stable, safe, and permanent home. The town of Poughkeepsie has very little existing debt, and these projects are being approached as a long-term capital investment, not short-term fixes. Borrowing for essential infrastructure when debt levels are low and credit is strong is fiscally sound and does not jeopardize the town's financial stability or credit rating, which is an important consideration. Equally important, the town board has been explicit that the goal is to cover approximately half of the total project and borrowing costs without relying on property taxes. This will be accomplished through a combination of grants, new and expanded revenue streams, and the sale of existing town-owned properties, including the current police and courts building, once it is vacated. Bond resolutions are structured as not to exceed amounts, allowing costs to be refined and reduced as planning progresses, rather than locking taxpayers into inflated figures. It is also necessary to compare costs honestly, and the town is already paying for this problem through repeated emergency repairs, escalating maintenance costs, and inefficiencies tied to an unsafe and failing facility. Those costs do not disappear by delaying the action, they grow. Investing in modern, energy-efficient facility reduces long-term operating expenses and avoids the cycle of constant repairs that ultimately burden taxpayers more. It is more cost-effective, more workable for police operations and court functions, and better for residents. This resolves long-standing deficiencies in the current town hall, improves service delivery, and creates meaningful opportunities to expand recreation facilities and community programming at the town hall site, which I believe someone else had already commented earlier. So at this core, I support this measure. It is a plan about responsible stewardship of public resources. It provides our police and courts with a stable home, and it uses town-owned land wisely, expanding the opportunity for recreation for future generations to come. I'd like to thank the town for its consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online, on Zoom, who would like to speak to items on tonight's agenda? Yes, I just see iPad. I'm not sure who it is, but your hand's up.
Hello.
Yes, hi, welcome.
Hi. Thank you very much. My name is Dave Coxon. Thank you for hearing me this evening. I'm a resident of Poughkeepsie. Another item that I have to discuss with reference to the Boardman Road purchase is the increase in traffic it's going to bring to Spack Hill Road and Boardman. I live on Colburn Drive. It is the other side of that intersection, and I can tell you many times of the day, it is very, very crowded. The light structure they have there is not sufficient to handle the traffic that they have. It's a dangerous intersection. It's been looked into repeatedly. No traffic study has yet been done. I inquired about this. That seems irresponsible to me. And while it was nice to have another member of this town who works for the town read a prepared statement about how great it's going to be, anyone can tell you there are glaring issues with this. You're spending money before you're sure what to do, and a lot of people are against it. And as Mr. Bradford said before, a referendum is absolutely called for on this. There's too many questions, and people have a right to say where their money is spent. This money does not belong to the town. This money belongs to its citizens, and they should have a more loud say in where it goes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else online on Zoom who wanted to speak tonight? And also, we've got some more folks online, and then we can come back to anyone who's in the room. I think it's Jessica. Welcome.
Yes, hello?
Hi, welcome.
Oh, yes, hi, thank you. Okay. Good evening, people of my community and members of the Poughkeepsie Town Board. My name is Jessica Ramos. I am the owner of Women of All Trades, LLC. I'm a licensed clinical social worker with goals and aspirations of doing what I do best, helping others and assisting my community to thrive. The space that could be developed at 7 Springside Avenue will do just that, providing much-needed housing and also an office offering therapeutic services to assist in serving our community with the much growing need of in-person mental health services that can be provided not only in English, but also in Spanish. My team and I worked diligently to make sure that the location provided much-needed parking use, using the already existing driveway and supporting the needs of the parking needs for that particular street and residents. In granting the right-of-way today, the board will get Women of All Trades LLC one step closer to their goal in making this a location where people can reside and where we can not only provide services to the now residents, but also to the nearby college students from Marist and Vassar that are also needing support. I want to thank you for all the work this board does in making sure that this community has their needs met safely. And I also thank the residents of the town of Poughkeepsie for their ongoing support and concerns in making their community better each day. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. And just to confirm, this is about 7 Springside, right? It's item number 6 on our agenda.
Correct.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Sanderson, welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Great. So I'd just like to say what appeals to me, and to sort of balance out what others have said about spending money on this current idea. I think that, some of the elements of this are really well worth investing in. For example, bringing in community partnerships to work in cultural projects and recreation and senior citizens. Basically, the kinds of things that you couldn't do with the current town hall, and bringing those into that beautiful site there with plenty of square footage and lots of facilities is something that those of us who remember the town passing on Casperkill regret greatly. So I think for the benefit of the citizens of the town, if they understood what your thoughts, your collective thoughts are on how to leverage that space for the benefit of like all age groups and culture. I just think it's a wonderful idea. I applaud you guys for doing it. I'd just like to make another comment about looking for a different alternative scenario where the police just go into a single new building or renovated building and leaving the town hall where it is. I was involved during the past administration of searching for buildings that might possibly fit the bill. I'm familiar with this stuff because I did it for the city of Poughkeepsie when Poughkeepsie City Hall had to close down. So I suggested and was greeted with open arms to go around and look at different buildings and consider the usability of different sites in the town. My wife and I spent days and days and days doing this. And I can tell you that it's a real challenge. For the folks that are speaking tonight and thinking about that option as opposed to the one that's on the table, it was very, very difficult to find something that was accessible, made sense for the police department, wasn't polluted, didn't require Brownsfield remediation. It was just very, very difficult, and the kinds of costs that were involved were really not justifiable. So
we're a little over 3 minutes, just to let you know.
Okay, well, just that comment at all, and thanks very much for your service. Look forward to seeing the new setup. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next we had Jim and Kristen.
Hi, this is Kristen Bernard. We live on Colburn Drive, and I want to thank everyone for all the hard work that they're doing on this. I understand that this is a really difficult situation, and we need to get our police out of the building that they are in. However, I'm very, very nervous about this location. I have reason to be on Boardman Road around 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. And at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, Boardman Road turns into a one-lane road. Because all the Lord's parents, which it's no fault of theirs, the school tells them to do this, they block one entire lane of the road. And then if you're trying to get out onto Spackenkill Road, you can wait 3, 4, 5 lights to get through to Spackenkill Road. So I'm assuming it's the same at drop-off in the morning. You have a daycare right there that if anyone needs an ambulance, forget it at those 2 times. But also you're talking about bringing in community events. That means more people traveling there. I just think that this location needs to be off the table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? Doreen, Tignanelli, welcome.
Thank you. So, yeah, I want to echo the traffic concerns that the Bernards and Dave Coxon had. As you know, I live on Colburn Drive, and I brought up that same issue about the pickup in the afternoon at Lourdes, that it does turn into one way. I brought this up when I was talking about the traffic study. It's a problem. Maybe you need the police there for that. I'm not sure. But at any rate, you are basing this negative declaration for seeker on the premise that there's no significant impact. And I have to disagree for the traffic, because I'm looking at the updated report that was done, and the base counts were from 2022. And one of the problems with this 2026 update is that you don't talk at all, they don't talk at all in here about the fact that the environmental assessment form says that local leagues may use the baseball and soccer fields. So while you're saying that there's only going to be a small impact to traffic in the morning and evening, not the weekends, that's in the EAF, then when are these local leagues going to potentially be using these fields, and how much more traffic is there going to be? The intersection of Boardman and Spackenkill is dangerous, and getting in and out of Colburn Drive, we've had this discussion over the years, and you're counting on the Department of Transportation to help on this, and I'm not so sure that they are going to help. So again, I have an issue with the traffic, and I don't think it accurately depicts what potentially may happen. Also, I wanted to talk about the tax certs, number 13. You know, you're likely going to approve the lowering of assessments for the properties on Neptune Road and South Road. And again, as I always say, each time you do this, you lower the assessments, and that means that the rest of the town property owners have to end up picking up those people's share of the taxes. So you're impacting everyone. And the last thing is, I don't know if I have how much time I have. If you want to hear this,
30 seconds.
Okay, there's errors in the chief's contract. So if my time is up, then I'll just say that a sloppy job was done. And I don't know who reviewed this, but if you have to defend this in court, if there's any discrepancies, you were warned.
So, Doreen, if you would like to email me or call tomorrow, we could touch base on anything that might be an issue. We did review it with the labor attorney and have gone through everything, but if there's anything that you have concerns about, I'd be happy to touch base.
Sure, well, you're gonna vote on it with some errors in it then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak, who hasn't spoken yet? Yes, Mr. Chally, if you want to come forward, and then we'll go back if there's anybody else on Zoom who wants to speak. Welcome.
Okay, Jim Chally, 6th Ward. I'm speaking as someone who was on both the committee that looked at reviewing the town's master plan and suggesting updates. And I was also a member of the committee that then Supervisor Baisley appointed to look for alternative sites to the PDS for the police court facility. I could go into all of the detail, but I won't. I don't have time. But I agree very much with what Mr. Sanderson said. The town is pretty much built out. There aren't any good locations. We worked on this for almost a year. We found 4 possibilities. They were all along Route 9. 2 were existing buildings and 2 were vacant sites. Both of those were expensive. Both of those would have cost a lot of money to either rebuild or to build new construction. We're in a situation where it's a matter of trade-offs. And I can just say from my looking at all of the information that I've seen, I've read through the reports, what we're looking at right here is, I believe, the best that we can do. Again, I'm willing to go into more detail with anybody that would like. The second thing I would say is I totally agree. The intersection of Boardman and Spagnhill is awful, is just awful. There was a traffic study done. It's in the seeker documents. And what it found is that right now, the intersection is awful, and putting town hall there is not going to make it more awful. It's still going to be awful. What I would suggest, and what needs to be done at that intersection, is a massive redesign. Maybe a roundabout, maybe some extra lanes, some new kind of signaling, but something different. And how is that going to happen? I would submit to you that having town hall next to that intersection, that's the kind of leverage with the state DOT that we need. And I think that's one of the ways that putting this site there is going to improve some things. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say that Director of Municipal Development, Mike Welty, and I talked today also about the signal there. We're not clear that the signal is working properly at that intersection, so the first step is to make sure that it's cycling properly, but there's other action. The hill, with the hill there too, people coming uphill. I know there's homeowners right there on the edge who mowing the lawn right next to people flying up the hill on Spagnhill Hill. There's a lot of things to think about, but it may be that even just changing the light pattern would help some. Is there anyone else in the room who wants to speak? Is there anyone else online who wanted to speak? Yes, welcome.
Ann Berger, 3rd Ward. Excuse me. So I was thinking about the police and the change of plan that has happened over the last couple of years, and just wanted to get some insight into what their feedback is on, at one point, them moving to the PDS and now kind of being crowbarred into the town hall. What are their thoughts on it? What have the police said? Like, the feedback that you may have gotten from them on the fact that they're not going to move now they're going to be moved over here.
Well, so I can't speak for the police. We have been in conversation with them and in the planning process for the new police courts facility here. I think at the last January meeting, we authorized schematic design as well as move to seeker. So that conversation with the police courts committee, the chief and his appointees, as well as court appointees, have been on that committee, on an ongoing way.
So have any of the other board members reached out to the town police and kind of got their feedback on how they feel about it?
Yes.
Yes. And how,
actually, I think all of us.
yes. Yep. And how do they feel?
What's
their feedback?
The main thing is, what I heard loud and clear from everyone is the town police they want to get out of there so badly, And correct me if I'm wrong, chief, you don't want to spend another 10 years waiting to move. So this is the most expeditious move. And that's why we're, looking at town hall, because it just fell in our lap to move into the PDS. So what I heard was they're nervous that it's not going to happen. They're petrified that we're going to put some other monkey wrench into this and they're not going to be able to move here. I've spoken to the other captains personally, and they like this idea, Ann, because that back part is completely secured. I mean, they've got a massive rock wall that's kind of protecting them, and they have one entrance which separates them from the rest of the public, and the public is up here. It's kind of designed almost like a little fort. So they like that.
Yeah, so I'm worried about making sure we have comment
sorry.
and that we do questions and answer.
Yeah,
I
questions and
don't want to
answers
cut
later.
off dialogue, but we want to do our public comment and then be able to move forward, so.
The reason I ask is because this was all gonna happen 3 years ago. And they were gonna move there, and we were gonna buy the Poughkeepsie Day School. And the fact that we're at this again it's almost comical. If it wasn't happening in real time and I wasn't here witnessing it, I would think it was a joke. That 3 years ago, we were gonna buy it, we were gonna move them there, we were gonna move Town Hall there, but then you ran your entire campaign on the fact that we can't move Town Hall to Poughkeepsie Day School. That would be crazy. That doesn't go along with our comprehensive plan and raising taxes and a $54 million purchase and everything. And here we are again, circling back to it and buying it. It's just mind-blowing. So it just doesn't sit well with me as a taxpayer, number one, that, I'm here revisiting this again. But let me read what I was gonna write, what I was gonna say instead. So Supervisor Edwards ran her entire 2023 campaign on the residential tax implications that moving Town Hall and the police to PDS would put on residents, and estimated that tax increase to be 10 to 12%, which it will be, again, which it was gonna be then. It costs money to make a move like this. The supervisor and her turning Poughkeepsie Blue cohorts came to the board meetings throughout 2023 talking about how moving the Town Hall to PDS deviates from the comprehensive plan because the location is not a town center. And how could people get to Town Hall to pay their bills because the loop bus doesn't make a stop on Boardman? At other meetings, members of the Turning Poughkeepsie Blue group demanded a public referendum to gather input from the taxes, for input on increasing the taxes. Never in a million years did I think we'd be here. If I wasn't watching it in real time, like I said, I think it was a practical joke. I was in favor of moving the Town Hall and the police department to Poughkeepsie Day School back in 2022 and 2023, and I voted for it. Anyone with a brain knew that taxes would go up because the project is immense, no matter where we decide to move. So I reiterate again, the gall it takes to present this project 2 years after demonizing it on Facebook, mailers, and of course the Turning Poughkeepsie Blue outreach. I'm just flabbergasted that you guys have the nerve to do this in such a way. And then crowbar the police department into this place. Why would we move the Town Hall there to retrofit this for the police? It just makes no sense. So I got to thinking about how we ended up here again. After looking at the IBM buildings, after looking at the space on Fairview, after looking at the lot on Over Rocker Road, all the things that took place in the last 2 years, we're gonna move here, this will be a great idea, we'll move over here. How do we get back to PDS with the traffic implications of Boardman and Spackenkill roads, all the residents mentioning tonight? And then someone pointed out to me the main motivator, battery storage.
Oh, please.
The thing about Miss Edwards, you need to remember, is there's
Way over time.
I'm sitting here, there's a 3-minute
But-
limit, and
I know, I'm providing extra time because there was a conversation with board member Laird, so I want to make sure that Ms. Berger gets her full share of time. There's about a minute left. And I'd like to make sure we all hear what everybody has to say.
So you have to remember, the thing you have to remember is there's an agenda. There's always something behind the scenes. Again, she ran her entire campaign, including mailers, Facebook posts, public outreach, that we cannot possibly move the Town Hall and police and courts facilities over to Boardman Road because the implication on us, the taxpayers. The same implication will be had on the taxpayers when we move the Town Hall there. So make it make sense. without a doubt, it's the battery storage. The solar array at Poughkeepsie Day School will tie in nicely with the Central Hudson substation down the road. And if you recall, one of the first things Supervisor Edwards did when she was elected was prepare town code on battery energy storage. While other towns were waiting to pass the code or voting no on BESS, Poughkeepsie was voting yes despite the risks to residents, despite the outcry from residents.
We are well past 3 minutes now,
Okay.
so.
So, you know, it's just in plain sight what's happening here. And the fact of the matter is, all of our taxes will go up. All of them were gonna go up 3 years ago. So all you did was postpone moving the police 3 extra years. So we're exactly where we were, and I just can't believe that everyone's falling for this. The other thing is,
Ma'am, we're past 3 minutes. We're at 7 minutes now.
What about the agreement with the Elks? Has that come to fruition?
It's in their hands now, but the lawyers have gone back and forth.
Excuse me.
Thanks.
Did you read the town code? Because we cannot put a BESS on that site. We only allow BESSes and heavy industrial. That's zoned institutional. It cannot be put there, period.
Okay, well, there's always zoning changes.
No, there cannot be zoning changes.
So-
It's heavy industrial. To zoning change it, we'd have to wipe out every building on it. That's not possible. It's not happening.
So I'd like, I would like,
This was gonna happen.
I would like to suggest that we defer this to the conversation about those specific issues, and if board members would like to speak more, they may. Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak? There's someone online, it's Jim and Kristen, I think, who spoke before, but did you want to add something or have someone different speak?
Yeah, this is Jim Bernard. I lived on Wilburn Drive for over 50 years. And my main concern is with emergency services getting through the traffic issues that is going to be just escalated if this project goes through. You've got a daycare center, you've got a high school, and you've got a lot of people in this area that are elderly and could need emergency services. How are they going to get through? And also you have a facility there that is taking care of older people who can't take care of themselves.
The landing,
That is
right?
a major, yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
That is a major concern for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I had someone else online who, it just says desktop. So welcome,
Yeah.
desktop.
Hi, it's Stefan Krakauer.
Oh, great, hi, welcome.
I am actually surprised that we're back at Poughkeepsie Day School after all these years. I was actually personally never a big fan of the location and the cost, and the campaign that the supervisor ran was basically against this property, so I'm kind of shocked that you've circled back to it. At that time, you were talking about a $90 million project. Now we're looking at upwards of 115, maybe $120 million. So the 2-year delay definitely didn't help. If you were going to go this way, you probably shouldn't have opposed it in the first place. But it is confusing as to why you would put town hall over there. The one thing that you were crystal clear on, and I mean, I could quote you probably a dozen times, is that town hall does not need to move. You were crystal clear on that. Yet now you're moving town hall to the cost of about at least 13 million, maybe more. And the police court facility, everybody talks about the police department moving. There's also the courts that has to move along with it. The amount of traffic that comes and goes in any given court calendar is tremendous. So the parking and the traffic and the congestion is going to be insane. And this town gets bigger and bigger, and the court gets busier and busier. And the judges over there could probably tell you it's one of the busiest courts in the state. So shoehorning all that into the current town hall doesn't make a lot of sense. And in all honesty, if you were being honest and you said, yeah, we're going to put battery storage over there, then I guess there's at least a rhyme and a reason. But to flip it and put the police court facility over town hall just makes no sense. And when Councilwoman Shearson says you can't do it because it's not zoned for that, you're the town board. You can rezone any property however you want to zone it. So that's not really an honest answer. It may not be the intent, but it would be better if you said that. But again, the whole issue was town hall doesn't need to move. That was your whole issue in your campaign. And Jim Challey, Jim, you're hopping around from side to side. His issue was this is completely inconsistent with the town master plan, It's not walkable. It makes no sense. Now it makes sense and the trade-offs are okay. I just would like what you ran on. Honesty, transparency, talk about what's really going on here, let people know what's really happening, give them real numbers. The idea that you're gonna sell the old police court facility for $5 million, that ship may have sailed because the cost of warehouses, it was higher previously. I don't know where it is at this point, but that property is getting worse and worse. And one of the issues with that, the purchase price was about $5 million, but then you have to back out all the expenses once somebody does due diligence. So we never put that into the equation as to what the total cost would be for the town, for moving town hall, because the numbers were very difficult to figure out. But to say that you're gonna offset 50% of the cost of this with grants, selling town hall, and new revenue streams, if there are new revenue streams that you have that could offset 25 to 50 million, you should already have those in play rather than wait for some sort of magic point in time.
So we're a little past 3 minutes now. It's about three and a half.
I just would like just a clear understanding as to how it is that this project all of a sudden became better when it was horrible, and why it is that you would circle back to it, because I don't think it's a good fit. I don't think it's a good location. I don't think it's good for the police to be at the current town hall. And it just, like Ann Berger said, it's crazy. If we didn't see it happening, I just wouldn't believe it. And I'd like to thank Ann Berger for actually she's not on the board, but I'd like to thank her for representing people from the town, because I don't think town residents want this at this point. They didn't before us.
We're well past 3 minutes, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone else online who would like to speak? Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak? Yes, we did have someone else in the room. Welcome.
I'm Lisa Call. I am the county legislator for District 6, where Poughkeepsie Day School is. I also happen to reside in District 6, very close to the school. Just want to thank you all for the work that you've done. I also want to make sure to note that this board has been working really hard for the last 2 years on finding an alternative site to the police station. And I want us to remember what the opposition was to the previous proposal. The opposition stemming from traffic came from having a police station and court facilities and the need for police cars to exit from that particular facility swiftly. I want people here to remember that on Boardman Road, there was a time when Poughkeepsie Day School had many more students and had a full fleet of buses, and the high school still operated at the same time. The problem that we're seeing with traffic right now stems from the school, the high school parents who congest the streets. The problem is not stemming from what's going on at Poughkeepsie Day School or will go on at Poughkeepsie Day School. We don't have a problem here in Town Hall right now. We're gonna have the same amount of traffic that's at Town Hall right now that will now come to the Poughkeepsie Day School location, right? And the school itself is much smaller. So while I agree with everybody that there are concerns about traffic, I don't think that these concerns about traffic are coming from the new facility that's going in there. We do need to address those concerns of traffic. We do need to address the lights at the top of the road. To me, one of the most important, pressing, attractive reasons for having town hall at that particular location don't have to do with Bess. I don't know where that idea came from, but it comes from a theater, basketball courts, commercial kitchen, and sports fields. I've had residents, constituents of mine, leave the town of Poughkeepsie because there are no facilities for their kids over here. We really need those kinds of facilities. We have seniors who really would like to do something. We have a wonderful hub right there in that area. There are now plans to think about a sidewalk on Spackenkill Road to connect from Spackenkill to the library. I personally will be advocating for the bus to come up to the Boardman Road Library because a lot of residents have asked for that. So to connect the Poughkeepsie Day School to be on the bus route. And there are greater calls from at least my residents who live Spackenkill, Red Oaks, Boardman Road, Coach Light, in those areas, they want to be connected. So they want that area to become an area of greater connectivity. And the town hall as a hub for recreation, for community life, which really is what this town hall is been doing and has been and will do. So I commend you on taking this very bold step during an election year.
We're over 3
Thank you.
minutes, so thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone else who wants to speak? There've been a number of people who've spoken about the prior plan, so I just want to give a few pieces of factual information. So anyone who wants to look at the prior plan, I believe it was the December 14th, 2022 meeting, and all those materials are online, so anybody who wants to go and review the Mitchell proposal and the prior materials, they are there at that site. That was a two-phase project. The first phase was to build a new police station and courts building. Well, the courts, part of the courts portion was going to be in a portion of the Poughkeepsie Day School Gilkinson site, but the police station, there was no building on the site that was suitable for a police station, so there was going to be a new police station built there, and the board was going to borrow $54.82 million for that first phase. I would have to go back and look at what the numbers were for the proposed second stage, but they were a little theoretical because the board was going to push those forward a few years and they weren't planning to go ahead with the town hall phase. But there are two buildings at the site. One that we may talk about more tonight is the Gilkison building, which is the classroom building. And then there's a second one, which is the mansion, the Kenyon House, which is on the corner. The prior plan was for the board, for the town to purchase the entire property, for the police station to go in the back of the building, for courts to be in portion of Gilkison, and for town hall to go into the Kenyon House mansion. At this point, the property has been subdivided. The Poughkeepsie Day School plans to continue its operations in the Kenyon House and will be there in the Kenyon House mansion. They're retrofitting that, and it serves their needs now for the near future. The property's been subdivided, and the town is looking at purchasing the Gilkison building, the classroom building, and the adjacent sports fields. So this is not the same plan for a number of different reasons. Police and courts would not go to that site. They would go here, and also the Poughkeepsie Day School is only interested in selling a portion of the site at this point because they can plan to continue operations in the Kenyon House. The Kenyon, so town hall would be going now to Gilkison. It would have previously been going to that building. If you want to look at the prior plan, the Kenyon House is 2 stories. It's not accessible, so there was a need to build a staircase and towers on either side that would put in a staircase and an elevator, and not all of town hall was going to fit in the Kenyon House, so a piece of it was going to actually go over to Gilkison. The clerk and the saver of taxes would be in another building. So anyway, if you want to look at all of that and see what that looked like and compare it to the current plan, you can do that by going back to the December 14th, 2022 board materials, and everything is there, just so people are clear. It is a portion of the same property, but the plans are somewhat different and the price tags are different, so. Okay, is there anybody else who wants to speak? All right, seeing none, I move that we return to regular session.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 6-0. And we can start, Board Member Laird with item number 1.
Resolution number 1, be it resolved, the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Andrew Venza to the position of full-time network support specialist, grade 9, step 1, at the salary of $33.2895 per hour, effective February 23rd, 2026, and this appointment is subject to probationary period as described by the rules for classified civil service of Dutchess County. Be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by Dutchess County Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Thank you for waiting, Andrew. We're very excited to have
Mr.
you.
Venza's here with family. Thank you for being with us tonight. Looking forward very much to having you join us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Venza's a military veteran also, which is fantastic. Always good to have an opportunity to hire a veteran to work for the town, so thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. Thanks so much.
Resolution 2, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute agreement between the town of Poughkeepsie and town of Poughkeepsie Chief of Police Joseph Cavalier, Police Captain Michael Odo, and Police Captain Ralph Cropley all in substantially in the forms annexed here too. So moved.
Second.
Okay. This resolution does say substantially the form annexed. So if, as Ms. Tignanelli has suggested, there were any errors or mistakes, we can go back and take a look at those. But we did go over it multiple times, so we'll check that. These are the administrative heads of the police department, police chief and captains. So this is separate from a contract with the Poughkeepsie, with the Police Benevolent Association, the PBA, which would be negotiated later in the year. And we thank them for their leadership of the department. Any conversation, any comments, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. Thanks very much.
Resolution number 3, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign the 2026 Stop DWI Dedicated Saturation Patrol Campaign Agreement with the County of Dutchess, a copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Continuing Stop DWI. It's a long-standing program with the county. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0.
Resolution 4, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the retirement of Thomas Wyachek, Deputy Building Inspector for the Town of Poughkeepsie, effective February 11, 2026. So moved.
Second.
So Tom has been a very, very hardworking building inspector for a long time. His services to the town and town residents have been many, really deeply appreciate all his service. I saw him last week and he said, I'm gonna miss it, but it's time, I'm ready. So he's going on to retirement. We wish him all the very, very best in retirement. So, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Angela Zelinski to the position of part-time recreation assistant at the senior center at a salary of $16 per hour effective February 5th, 2026, which appointment shall be subject to a probationary period as described by the rules for the classified civil service of Dutchess County, and be further resolved, the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second. All right, very delighted to bring her on board for this open position. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. All right, this is a license agreement at 7 Springside. Whereas Women of All Trades LLC was granted site plan approval for a multifamily renovation of an existing home at the corner of Springside Avenue and Vanderwater Avenue, which requires the use of parking spaces in an existing driveway that extends several feet into the Vanderwater Avenue right-of-way. And whereas the highway superintendent has indicated that because of the specific layout of that street, driveway, and utility poles, the continued use of that driveway does not affect the town's use of or maintenance of Vanderwater Avenue. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement between the town and Women of All Trades LLC for a non-exclusive revocable license to maintain parking spaces encroaching on Vanderwater Avenue in substantially the form presented here. And be it further resolved that the project has already been subject to secret review during site plan approval, so no further environmental review is required. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I know there's been a lot of conversation about this driveway, but it looks like this is a plan that works and enables some multifamily housing to go in there for this work Women of All Trades, so it's a great program.
I just wanted to thank Ms. Ramos for coming on and speaking to this to help me get a better understanding of what they do there. So thank you, Jessica.
Thanks. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the resolution carries 6-0.
Resolution number 7, be it resolved, the town board does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute an Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, agreement between the town of Poughkeepsie and the Employee Services LLC, which is also ESI, Employee Assistant Group, for the term from February 1st, 2026 through January 31st, 2027, in substantially the form annexed. So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is an employee assistance program which provides all kinds of supports for employees. It's very valuable for employee support. So, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0.
Resolution 8A, Poughkeepsie Day School. ACQR negative declaration. Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie is considering purchase of the property from Poughkeepsie Day School to create a new town hall and recreation facility, the project. And whereas the resolution 1 of 2026, this town board determined that the project was an unlisted action under the New York State Environment Quality Review Act, accepted the full environment assessment form, part 1, for project, declared its intent to be lead agency for the environment review of the project, and directed that the town clerk, working with the director of municipal development and legal department, circulate a notice of said intent, a copy of EAF and supporting documents to involved and interested agency. And whereas the town clerk has received notice from involved and interested agency agreeing to the town board as a lead agency, and director of municipal development has prepared FEAF part 2 and 3 for the project as annexed, and whereas the town board has reviewed the FEAF part 2 and 3, including related documents, and had all questions resolved to their satisfaction, and now therefore be it resolved that proper notice having been given, therefore being no objection received, this town board determines that it will serve as a lead agency for coordinated ACQR review of the project, and be it further resolved that town board determines that implementation of the project will not result in a significant adverse environment impact, and be it further resolved that town supervisor or her designee is authorized to respond to this question on the draft FEAF part 2 as annexed, and to execute and the draft negative declaration attached as FEAF part 3 together with such other documents as may be required, and to also take such other steps as may be required. So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion. So I just wanted to acknowledge the concerns about traffic that people have raised tonight, and about that intersection at Spackenkill and Boardman Road. I do think the traffic impact of having the town hall there is relatively slight compared to other uses. I know that people have looked at portions of the site for things like a medical office or things of that sort. And the town hall coming and going here through the day is distributed much more than, as we're as everybody says, when Lord's is, I believe Lord's starts at 8 in the morning and ends at 2, and those are the times when you have a huge, pickup and drop off, whereas town hall is slower and steady through the day. That being said, I just want to talk a little bit about the timeline of this project. We started with a letter of intent. We are at this point proposing to go to contract, which would mean that we have continued negotiation over everything and continued research up through closing, which would be in tentatively mid-April, right? So we are at that stage of going to contract, not closing on the property yet, and there'll be room for research and continued negotiation and further understanding of the building's condition and things like that between now and the time of closing, which would be in April, when I certainly hope the snow will have melted off the roof, although this winter I'm not in, it may be slow, but hopefully by, March we can get on the roof and do a final confirmation. We did do roof cores and things like that before the snow hit, but need some more assessment. So I think we've met the burden of secret here, but we will continue research and continue looking into the traffic situation to make sure that we find solutions. So, as Mr. Challey said, I think moving town hall there helps us focus on that area as an area that does need some work.
may I just speak to the seeker review? for a moment?
Absolutely.
Sure, I just wanted to make sure the board is all oriented to what the action is that you're taking. So essentially, the board is declaring itself to be the lead agency for the environmental review. And what that means is that you're making the decision whether there's any potential for significant adverse environmental impact. Our Director of Municipal Development, Mike Welty, often completes these forms as a draft for the board, but it's really up to the board to decide whether there is a significant adverse environmental impact. So the part one is sort of an inventory, and then the part two takes you through questions about whether there are impacts on land, water, and other environmental resources. So he did check off that there could be an impact on transportation resources, and then attached a study on that. So you've all had all of this, and I'm sure you've looked it over, but I just wanted to, give you the opportunity if you had any questions to ask or wanted to discuss anything further, or to decide whether you are satisfied that this project will not have significant adverse environmental impacts. If there are smaller impacts, that can all be mitigated as we go along, but before any decisions are made, you need to do this environmental review.
It might be worth saying at this point that a number of things about environmental impact, that any sort of larger scale battery energy storage system would certainly have an environmental impact. And to repeat what Board Member Shershin said, which is that that we zoned when we adopted the moratorium and then adopted restrictions on any proposed BESS in the town, we limited those to heavy industrial. There is no plan to put any BESS at this site. We don't contemplate any such plan. The only thing I can say to people who think there may be such a plan is to submit a FOIL. Sorry, Felicia, but there are no such documents contemplating any such activity. This is to be purchased for a town hall and a recreational facility, not for any kind of large-scale battery energy storage. The substation is a fair distance away anyway. It's not beside the substation. But in any case, just to put it on the record, there is no such plan.
So at this point, it is allowed by our code, but if they wanted to put an application, it would be the planning department. So if you want to, right?
It's not allowed by the code.
Well, not in that spot, but
That's
battery
right.
energy storage is, and if they want to look at applications, they'll
Yeah,
FOIL me and I'll send it right
That's
to
right.
planning.
We have no such applications at the
No.
moment that I know of from BESS companies, but
No,
we
but-
designated only a few heavy industrial sites in the town where they could potentially.
And they would apply to planning.
That would go to
That's all I
planning.
wanted to
Yep,
say.
that's right.
Sorry.
Please,
okay.
please read the code. We severely limited where they can go. And we cannot change the zoning on that spot. It does not fit heavy industrial. It cannot happen.
Okay. Any other comments on our adoption of ourselves as to determine the secret negative declaration? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. Okay, 8B. Whereas the town board has continued to consider its options for relocation of town hall and for the police courts facility, and whereas pursuant to resolution 1217 SC1 of 2025, the town has executed a non-binding letter of intent for the Gilkison Building and Sports Fields on Boardman Road for use as a town hall and recreation facilities, and has by resolution 1217 SC2 authorized the retention of Zarin and Steinmetz LLP, CPL Architecture, and Engineering, Oric, Harrington, and Sutcliffe LLP, and Munistat to perform associated professional services that would be for legal, engineering, and bonding advice and bond counsel. Whereas CPL produced a building condition survey which includes an evaluation of the Gilkison's building systems and condition and an estimate of the cost for major building repairs and modest renovations needed for town occupancy, some of which the town can perform in-house to reduce costs. And whereas the town has issued a negative declaration under the State Environmental Quality Review Act pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617 for the purchase of said site by resolution 204 8A of 2026, and this day will consider additional resolutions to retain other professionals whose services will be necessary for the property purchase analysis and to authorize public financing, that is to say, an appraisal and other other bonding support, which must precede the effectiveness of a binding and unconditional purchase contract. And whereas the town has considered the benefits of the location, the economic value, and the range of potential improvements that could result from the town purchasing 2 of the 3 parcels, including the Gilkinson Building and the sports teams, totaling plus or minus 30.7 acres of land currently owned by the Poughkeepsie Day School, now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor or her designee is authorized to execute a contract and related documents in substantially the form annexed with the Poughkeepsie Day School Incorporated to conditionally procure 30.7 or more or less acres of land, including the Gilkinson Building and sports fields, located at 244 Boardman Road, for a purchase price not to exceed $6.6 million, subject to adjustment based on appraisal as provided in the contract and other typical bases of negotiation, substantially pursuant to the terms annexed. And be it further resolved that the execution of this contract does not commit the town to a future course of action until it has completed its site due diligence, qualified for and closed its public financing for the transaction on acceptable terms, and the other conditions of the contract annex have been met. So moved.
Second.
Okay, on the table then, I think then this is a place for a larger conversation that people wanted to have, or whatever conversation people want to have, about moving forward to contract on the Poughkeepsie Day School process for the property for the town hall and recreation facilities.
So how would we handle the leases, like, you know, the theater company that's in there? I mean, it's very compelling, and I would love them to be able to continue to use that space. I think it's maybe a legality issue, or how does that work exactly, just so I understand?
Well, their current lease is with Poughkeepsie Day Schools, so I think that we have a series of leases that we're looking at now so that we can see whether they can be transferred to the town or renegotiated or canceled, or what's the right course of action. So if there are leases that the town wants to continue to pursue with those same tenants, we can certainly look at that.
Yeah. I would just say, in practical terms, that we want a lot of the recreational facilities in this building to be partnerships, like we did with the Kingston YMCA last summer for a free summer basketball league. It works very well to have partnerships with different nonprofits in the community. In this case, you know, this is a vibrant, thriving children's and youth theater program. We have to balance the desire to continue working with them in partnership with making sure that this facility that we're purchasing on behalf of everybody in the town is available, you know, for multiple uses. But it appears that we can, you know, enter new leases, and we can also develop other kinds of partnerships with nonprofits. There's a pottery kiln, which we didn't realize when we were first looking at site. There's a kiln for pottery, and the Artifact is very interested in partnering on potential pottery classes. And so there's a number of other ways that we could explore uses of the site with partnerships. I hear the need for well thought out process and for continuity. The only challenge in that is that we have to do some renovations to the building. And so from about August, presuming this goes forward, from about August through December, there's going to be construction in the site. I don't think that replacing the roof, you know, materials is going to necessarily impede use of the building, but there's just a lot we need to talk through, but we're certainly open to that conversation and hopefully can find some way to continue working forward, working together.
And working with all those contracts and the nonprofits, does that happen before it all has to happen before closing, or?
So we do still have a couple months that we can negotiate those things. I think the plan is sort of a staged rollout where Poughkeepsie Day School would stay in the building for a while to finish out their school year. So, you know, we can transition things in a way that makes sense for everyone.
What the intention is to have Poughkeepsie Day School close out the school year there, and for us to begin, we obviously want to do renovations in the fall in order to be able to move in early 2027. We have put a timeline online. We've created a web page now as of, I think, 2 days ago on the town board, on the town website, so that people can follow the proposed timeline. Construction timelines don't always follow exactly what you're planning, but we're trying to move as quickly as we can. Anybody else who wants to speak to this?
Yeah, recreation met, and the parents can be hopeful that we are aware that so many positive things are currently happening at the location. Stringendo, the sports programs, and the presentation we heard just a while ago. I think parents can be hopeful that the town board wants to continue many of these programs. So we really appreciate that you came this evening to share, and we're hoping with the space we have, it's very attractive for a lot of the community programs that are currently happening. So my hope is that, we'll be able to continue those as well.
And I'd just like to say that I don't think there's anybody more surprised than I am that we've come back to this again. But what it really comes down to is we have to move the police somewhere. And we have looked for 2 years. I had come up with sites too, and everything, and just like the previous group before us, it was contaminated, it was in the wrong place. It's just, we couldn't come up with anything that worked except for moving them here. And this town hall's got to go somewhere. So whether it goes into the Poughkeepsie Day School, which is a huge opportunity for us, or whether we go into office space that we rent for a couple of years until we find another location, we have to move. So this offers us an opportunity. It offers us a lot of pluses in recreation, and I think it's worth taking a chance on it.
Yeah, so I just want to respond. A number of people spoke about the cost. Maybe we want to have a mandate or versus this is democracy. So we are elected people. We are representing each ward. We do make decisions supporting. We talk to the constituents, and we understand this is the point. When we move forward with the capital project, there's a big cost, millions, and there's a good chance taxes will increase. The same level, people won't get their salaries increased. We don't get as much as the grocery price goes up. That's an issue. That's just not Poughkeepsie. All over the U.S., all over the world, this is the challenge we have. Unfortunately, we have to move forward. This is long overdue. The police need a safe place. This is not a political game. We have a water treatment plant. This is the first treatment filtration in U.S. in the Poughkeepsie town. So we have the oldest infrastructure. We need to move forward with capital projects that saves money on the long run. We cripple people play partisan games, politicizing propaganda on the Facebook, and the same board member would vote if it is in your party is the one proposing, and if it is your opposition party, then they will oppose that. This is what cripple our government. The people, elected people, are so in love with their chair. We are elected to do our job. And they don't do that. That's why you lose your elections. Your job is to serve the people. And yes, we talked about number of new revenues, and yeah, this is a very valid question. If you gonna have a new revenues, why you have not already taken into consideration? Yes, very valid point. But people always talk about, like a number of times, whatever we want to do, make Poughkeepsie more expensive to live. What is that? Do you have any experience looking at what causes Poughkeepsie to live make it more expensive? Are we looking at the fire districts? Are we looking at the sales tax, what we receive? No. Maybe we don't have that experience. We don't have that knowledge. All what we have time for propaganda to attack or your next election. That's all we care about. we want to take care of the people. And our police need a space. And in 2 years, they were running. They're looking at places. So, I mean, based on, yes, the supervisor maybe voted for something different. When you have a new information, you change. This is not a principle. You know, you make a decision, you don't die with the decision. Based on the new information you have to move, may change your decision. What is best for the town? That's what we are doing here, not to play politics. So, for me, I will vote for it, because I understand, but we will work on it. I want not to, I mean, I know the employees watch our board meetings and also elected officials. Doesn't matter if you're working or doing the same profession for 20 years, doesn't matter. Please be open-minded. We will come talk to you. We'll find a way to save every penny and bring revenues every penny as possible. We want to reduce, our intention and our goal is not to raise any prices or taxes because we all affected, that's not what we want. But at the same time, we don't want to double your expenses because we want to play politics now. No, that's not, this is time, we need to take action right now. I will vote for it, and that's all I have to say.
Okay. I just wanted to respond on a couple of things. Did you want to speak? Go ahead. Everybody, I'll jump in later. Go for it.
No, sorry. I was just, as we were, I mean, obviously I'm one of the newer members and I'm coming in to this and trying to catch up, and I feel like I've heard from so many people, I've talked to people in the community, it seems like this is the best option that we have to move forward in order to, this building in itself, which I don't know if we talked about in this meeting, but it was in the workshop. This building itself, where Town Hall is currently located, has a lot of updates that are required anyways. When we did, there's a preliminary study of how much that would cost, and we're looking around $8 million to update this building. So if we put that in the context of moving to a new space, with all of the repairs, but also all of the opportunity, that's money that was already going to have to be spent on this town hall, moving the people out so that the renovation could take place. So just to put it in that context, for me, understanding the whole situation, it makes good sense to make this move if the renovations that need to happen in this building need to take place anyways, to retrofit it for the police department. So I feel like just like catching myself up and, like Shanta said, just trying to do what's best for the community, for the people here. I do think that this is where we are, and like Shanta said, like, it doesn't make anybody a liar that things change. That's life, right? You think you have a plan and then it doesn't work out, and you have to pivot and you have to work with what you've got, and you have to try to be smart and lean and make it work as best you can. And that's what we're trying to do. It's not nefarious. I want to say I'm not a politician. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to make this community, better for me, my family, and all of you.
So I'm going to speak to some of the financial issues and the bonding issues when we get to the bonding resolution, but I just wanted to say a couple of things. So one of the concerns I had about the plan in 2022 that has not been raised tonight, and I think it should be raised, is that the goal was to put a police station on that site. And there was some talk about also using the recreation site on that site, and they're not separate from each other. The police station was going to go right in the middle, and then there was going to be soccer field on one side and a gym on the other and a theater on the other with sally ports and holding cells in the middle. And I think those were both very important town functions, public safety and recreation, but I don't think they belong on the same site, and I don't think that was ever a good plan. With absolutely complete respect for the town police, it seems difficult for them if they are bringing in prisoners to a holding cell for a court date And they are weaving in between parents who are coming to pick up kids from soccer or drop them off. It's just not a good set of things to be together. And if you go back and you look at those documents from 2022, the recreational parts of the site, which to me are that's what makes this a site that's so compelling for the town to buy, is the gym and the theater and the fields and the recreational possibilities. And we have a summer camp that meets outdoors. Even when it's 103 degrees, they are outdoors. There is no indoor space for our summer camp. And to be able to move our summer camp to a place where there's a field, there's not 7, 8 soccer fields. We're not going to be doing giant tournaments over there. There's one soccer field and one small practice field. But there's enough outdoor space for the summer camp to enjoy that, but also have a gym and also have indoor space to diversify our summer camp programs, to be partnering with lots of nonprofits on an array of different programming. That is compelling. But when the plan was done in 2022, that was so sort of secondary to the plan that the gym was never even studied. If you go back and you look and it says, well, we're not planning to use the gym, so we're not going to check the roof. When we went back this time, we had to check the gym because nothing was ever, it was sort of like, well, we don't plan to use that. We plan to put a police station here. And to me, that's a waste of some cultural resources. If this building, the Gilkison building, became a medical office, or whether it was put out of use because a police station is put there and there's not compatible uses, it's a loss to the community. We don't have that many theaters. We don't have that many places where we can start an adult basketball league. There's a lot of stuff that we can do in that site that we can't do elsewhere. The other thing is that I did say I didn't think Town Hall should ever move. I did not know that it needed $8 million worth of work and that the HVAC and the windows and a bunch of other stuff need to be fixed. I also didn't know that we had 10 air eject sewer pump stations that date from the early 1960s and are crumbling. There was a lot. I mean, I knew that we had a police station that had been sinking into the ground since the mid-1990s. I knew that there were a lot of signs that the town government had not done what it should do for its employees and for the town, but a lot of the details of that I've learned a lot more about in the last 2 years. And so it does make sense to me, as Emily said, that given that this building, it's not possible to do the renovations to the roof, the HVAC, the windows in this building that need to be done within the next 5 to 10 years without moving everybody out anyway. So you can incorporate that into a police renovation here. It will include a substantial addition on the back of right behind where everybody's sitting, and entry at the top level there for the courts. That plan does, that's different than what I thought. I do not think that the police station is a good fit with Boardman Road for a lot of different reasons. And we have looked pretty extensively, and there are not other sites. There are not other sites that have the multiple points of access and the security and the location and that the police and the courts need, police particularly. So given that this where we're sitting is the best site to renovate for a modern police courts building, Town Hall has to move. And as Ann said, we have a choice of moving into rental space, and we thought we might. And then this property, which has very few equals anywhere in town, that it became available and gives us the opportunity to do much more than we expected we might be able to do. So I'll speak more to the cost when we talk to the bonding, but those are the reasons why I think this is the best plan.
Can I say something really short, really quickly? I don't know, I think I was busy with little kids. When my kids were little, we had the opportunity, the town had the opportunity to go to the Casper Kill Country Club. Was that in around 2004, 2002?
It was still open there for, like, you could pay to go for an event or use the pool, right?
I wish we could turn back the clock about 20 years. I'd be about 20 pounds lighter, and that place, if we could have moved there, the police would have been ecstatic because it would have been a whole complex for the town. They had pools there. They have a bowling alley or a couple bowling alleys there at the Casper Kill Country Club. They have fields, softball fields. I remember going there to see my niece play softball. That passed us up. And I don't know what the politics were then. I was, like I said, busy with little kids. But, oh my gosh, we have this opportunity now. It's like a mini Casper Kill. It has a beautiful theater. It has a gorgeous library. Now, I'm not saying that that's why we're moving there, but it just fell in our laps about the first week of December, right? Or November. Anyway.
After Thanksgiving, yep.
Yeah, it just showed up and we were like, we don't have to go to a warehouse and put all of our town people in a warehouse. How How would the people in the middle of the warehouse that we were thinking of going to, how would they have any light? How would they be able to see? How would that be a nice place for town? We would have gone there if we had to, and it probably would have been the same price. I don't know, everything is so much more expensive than it ever was before. But now, what if you could go to the Gilkerson House, and you have a theater, and a ceramics kiln, and a basketball court? Oh, that's like perfect. Did we know about that earlier? No. Are we going to put a best place? No. The first time we heard about that was somebody posted on Facebook. That was not part of our plan, never was part of our plan, is still not part of our plan, and never will be part of our plan. So when you can't turn back the clock and lose 20 pounds, and you can't go back to Casper Kill, why would you turn this up? Why would we stall this gift from heaven, whatever, it just fell in our laps? Because things change. And why would we hold up Chief Cavalier from moving his men to another site? Because we want to just, pause and take a break and think about how expensive everything is? Yeah, it's expensive. But we were going to have to pay for something anyway. So I don't, make it make sense that you don't have to make it make sense. It makes sense if you think about the 8 million and everything that everyone has said here today.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak to this? This is obviously the issue we're talking a lot about tonight, so I'm gonna give one more time, make sure nobody else has anything else they wanna add.
I think the key word also, it's not the same plan. Everything is online, the presentation from the architects. You can assess it for yourself and make your own assessment. But the board, as Councilwoman Laird mentioned, we did extensive searches for other places that we thought would be appropriate, and they were either too expensive or not suitable, even with retrofitting. So again, this plan allows for the police and the courts to have a spot, and our town hall to have a place where we can have our recreation fit in without having them intermingle. And everyone here looked at it extensively. We asked tough questions when the architects presented, and you will see if you review what's online that there are more upsides to this project than downsides. But that's like everything in life has some risks, and then there are opportunities that are presented. And I'm comfortable saying that in looking at everything and hearing the presentation and asking the tough questions, and we're not out of the woods yet, but I think every board member sincerely believes that this decision is best for the town's present and the town's future.
For what it's worth, I'll just say that the board made, with one member absent on that evening, a unanimous decision, a bipartisan decision to move forward with the Poughkeepsie Day School site. And I hope that we can continue to do that in a bipartisan way. Because again, this is about what we believe is best for the town's summer camp, and for the opportunity to provide new sources, some new services to residents as well. Okay, is everybody ready? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Resolution carries 6-0.
Oh, my turn.
Whose turn is it?
It's my turn, because you went
in
last.
order, that's fine.
Oh, did I go out of order? Okay, all right, your turn,
You
go
had a
for
lot
it.
to read, so.
All right.
Yeah. This
Well,
one's nice and
not-
short.
She doesn't really have a lot to read because they make it so that you don't on bond
Okay.
resolutions.
Oh,
You might
so
want
I
to
read this one?
summarize it.
Yes, we're at 8C. This is to authorize the bonding.
There's some blanks, so if you need help, look over here.
Okay, so at a regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, held at the Town Hall of Poughkeepsie, New York, in said town on February 4th, 2026, at
7 o'clock PM.
7 o'clock PM prevailing time, the meeting was called to order by,
Rebecca Edwards, supervisor.
and upon roll being called, the following were present.
Barbara Laird, Shanta Feng, I don't know how to say this,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Emily Watson, Ryan Scharf, Ann Shersham, Rebecca Edwards, and Bill Reuter was absent today.
The following bond resolution attached and incorporated herein, as to which the town board does hereby waive a verbatim reading and directs that it be spread across the record as if in fact had been read verbatim, was offered by,
Emily Watson?
who moved its adoption, second by,
Ann Shershen.
and having been fully put to a vote, which resulted as follows.
Okay, so, I'm gonna do a roll call vote, but did you wanna speak about this before we do the vote, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if we need to review anything else in the bond resolution before we discuss it, but we just moved it and Ann Shershen just seconded it, so it's on the table, right?
Yep.
I just wanted to speak to two issues, but other people want to speak first, or?
I was just gonna say that, that the understanding, I just wanna make sure I understand. So the bond means that this is how much money we are bonding, but it doesn't mean we have to spend it all.
Right, we are authorizing ourselves in future to issue municipal bonds up to this amount. So we're not actually borrowing anything now, we are authorizing, and then customarily, at some later point when the costs are clearer, you bond for exactly what you need. In this case, this is a fast project. We expect to be meeting a year from now in that building, if we could make it. And that might mean that I'm spending the holidays painting and I'm ready for it. So, we want to be in that building in a year. So as we go through design, which is relatively minor for this site because we're not digging any foundations, we're simply subdividing classrooms and moving things around so that we can, and we're not needing to do very much to the theater or the gym or the other things. We're focusing on the town hall site. So over the next couple of months, the costs are going to become much clearer. The roof in particular is the issue. That's by far the most expensive thing, but there's some electrical HVAC ventilation questions that we will be able to clarify more. In every case, we've put in high-end numbers with the idea that as it becomes clear, we have some wiggle room because as other things with IT or security, we may end up, you just never know, so.
Because, just so I understand, so like, obviously, you wanna bond a little bit higher because you can't go back and rebond, right?
Exactly. Well, you can, but it's expensive.
Got
So you want to do it once.
Okay.
And what we'll actually do as we begin to incur costs is issue low-interest, short-term bands, which are bond anticipation notes, which towns can do at a very low interest rate for 12 months. They last 12 months, so we will probably ban this project to the extent we need to start paying people to do the work. And then if we complete all the work within a year, we will know exactly what we spent before we issue long-term bonds, because we will have done it through these short-term bans. So the police station is a longer and more complicated project that will require a different approach, but.
And if there were other funds, like grant funds, for instance, that would all be factored in before you had
Right.
a total that you needed to bond.
Exactly. So.
I just wanna make sure I understand.
Sure, yeah, no, it's complicated, and the bond resolution is not actually the same as bonding, which then comes later, so
Right.
it's got a lot of stages to it, so that's good thing to ask. I will say that there are some sources of revenue that are not clear to us that will become clear over the next few months. A good example is that the Champlain Hudson Power Express has come down the Hudson. It comes onto our tax rolls partially this year for the construction phase. And that should begin to give us a sense of what that means for our tax rolls. It's a power line that goes from hydropower up in Canada down to New York City. It's going to power 1 million homes in the New York City area, and those towns along the way the state, I spent a lot of time on this, the State Office of Real Property Tax Services Special Franchise Unit will estimate its cost. Chippy estimates that the cost of its investment in Dutchess County, I believe, is around $167 million, and about a third of that represents our piece of, because we have a long stretch along the Hudson River. So we expect significant tax revenue for that, but we don't have any idea how much. ORPS will be telling us partially in April, so we'll have a much better sense by April of what that will look like. So that's an example of some of the things we'll know better as we go along in the next few months in terms of new revenue sources. I think that was all.
Are you ready for a roll call vote?
I think we are.
Councilperson Laird.
Aye.
Councilperson, I'm sorry, how do you say your last name?
Tangaya.
Tangaya.
Tangaya. Okay, that wasn't good. Your vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Watson?
Aye.
Councilperson Sharp?
Aye.
Councilperson Shearson?
Aye.
Supervisor Edwards?
Aye.
So it passes 6-0.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ryan, I believe, Mr. Sharp.
Resolution 8D, whereas the town of Poughkeepsie is pursuing the acquisition of approximately 30.7 acres of land, including the Gilkison Building and sports fields located at 244 Boardman Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, from Poughkeepsie Day School, Inc., and River City Abstract of Hudson Valley, Inc., began a title search on the same property when the town first considered purchase. The town desires to continue engaging River City Abstract of Hudson Valley, Inc. to provide title search services and title insurance in connection with the anticipated transaction. Any title insurance policy issued in connection with the transaction would be issued at New York State regulated premium rates with payments of the premium and related fees due at closing. In the event the transaction does not proceed to closing, the town will be responsible only for out-of-pocket expenses incurred by River City Abstract of Hudson Valley. The town board of the town of Poughkeepsie hereby authorizes the town supervisor or her designee to engage River City Abstract of Hudson Valley to provide title search services and title insurance in connection with the acquisition of the property located at 244 Boardman Road. The town supervisor or her designee is authorized to execute any agreements or documents necessary to effectuate such engagement with payment of the premium and related fees not to exceed $25,000 if the transaction closes, or $1,500 for out-of-pocket expenses if the transaction does not proceed to closing, in accordance with New York State regulated premium rates. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about the title search? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor or her designee to retain McGrath and Company, Inc. to provide appraisal services relating to the real property located at 244 Boardman Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, at a cost not to exceed $7,500. So moved. Second.
There was something I wanted to say at the bonding resolution that has to do with the overall purchase of this property that I would just like to add. And that is the number of people have called for a referendum on this. And here is the challenge with that. The purchase of this property is time sensitive. Any property transaction depends on two parties. And in this case, we have to move forward with the purchase in order to make it happen. Without saying more about that, I'll simply say that I wish it would be nice to be able to put this to a referendum, but I truly believe that if we did, we would lose this property and we would not be able to move forward at this site. So that's the trade-off here. There are, for other reasons also, I think that there are issues about the police building. We have tried to be as transparent as possible about this project. We will continue to be as transparent as possible about it. But as I think Board Member Thangia said, we were elected to try to do the best decision we can, cost-wise and services-wise for residents. We believe this is the best answer to a problem that everyone has acknowledged, which is that the police and courts must move out of their current building. And so we believe this is the best plan. So I just wanted to add that.
Just also want to respond, that it was mentioned that we are accelerating, we just accelerate. That's how it sounds. Years ago, I moved to California. You have to bring cash if you're buying a house. You have to put down the cash or you lose the house. That's how it works. Unfortunately, if you bought a house, you know that. Even here, you have to rush. Many things you're going to find out after you purchase the house. So there's no perfect solution, unfortunately. Like, it's time sensitive. We have to move forward. But regardless of what's the situation, we have to find solutions. That's our job. And not raising prices or increasing the taxes is not only the solution. We have to find efficiency everywhere. The government in general, since I worked in a government, I worked for military, I worked for private sector. So I get to see different finance models. And in general, governments don't function well. So I want to bring a lot of experience from other sectors to our government, make it more efficient. That's the idea. So we are looking at everywhere if we can save a penny, and the same time where we are missing out the revenues or new way of looking at the revenues, including the sales tax to everything. So regardless, last 2 years, regardless who was sitting in this board, I have to give credits. They worked hard to bring a lot of grants. Otherwise, our tax would have gone even more. So that's what we have a motivation right now to go look for money so we don't have to raise taxes and, giving a burden to the residents. That's our become a problem, so.
This is not, luckily, as bad as the real estate market in California, though. What we're doing right now, we signed a letter of intent, non-binding letter of intent. We're now moving to contract, and then it would not be until mid-April till we would agree on a price and close after final negotiation. And that's why the appraisal here is happening to also be an extra piece of information for us as we move through the process. So we're not, we have several months to go, so.
And the title insurance is also a huge part of our due diligence, and that was in the prior resolution as well.
Yep. Okay. All those in favor? of the appraisal? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I don't remember whose turn it is. I think it's
Mine.
yours. Yep, for
Good,
resolution
good,
number
I asked
9.
Emily about this. This is resolution number 9. We're authorizing the supervisor to execute a security and escrow agreement for wetland monitoring with Allspace LLC in substantially the form attached, subject to approval by attorney to the town, the planning board attorney, the town engineer, and the director of municipal development for the town of Poughkeepsie. So basically, Allspace LLC is hiring us, anyway, so moved. I should so move it before I discuss it.
Second.
Yeah, so they are hiring us to be the wetland monitor, to analyze the monitoring the wetland around. They want to take out some invasive species, some Phragmites, reestablish non-channelized hydrology, varied native shrubs and emergent vegetation. And they would oversee that through Aspen Environmental, our town's environmental consultant. And then they would pay us to do that, right?
Right, so whenever we have, development projects, the developer bears the costs so that it's not part of the taxpayer's responsibility. So if they need the town's consultant to monitor the project, then they have to establish an escrow to pay for that. So it's not the taxpayers paying for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. All right,
Yeah,
and we have documents to follow for number 10.
I actually have a
No, we have
slight
them.
change to, no, we have the documents.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I have a slight change to this resolution.
Which
that
one?
we just noticed this afternoon.
Yeah,
10A or
no,
10A,
10A?
yeah.
Okay.
So can I just say what the change is?
absolutely, yes, go right ahead.
The packet of there are a lot of documents here, that go along with, the Habitat for Humanity subdivision. And the last one in the packet is a, snow storage easement, and we neglected to add that to the numbered list in the resolution. So that should just be number 9, is an easement for snow storage. But the document is here and, has been available.
Oh, number 9 says any supported recording documents, but it's actually got a name.
So 9, easement for snow storage, and then there are number 10, any supporting recorded
Yeah,
documents?
You
All
can
right.
change that one to 10.
All right,
Yeah.
so 9 is easement for snow storage, and then 10 is any supporting recording documents.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, that's clear. All right.
Thank you.
Read this one.
Okay, great.
Because I had a really short one last time. 10A, be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign the following documents relating to the conditionally approved Habitat for Humanity 5-lot subdivision on Sunset Avenue in substantially the form annexed. There is a 1, stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance easement and agreement. 2, declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions for maintenance of premises. 3, stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance easement and agreement. 4, another stormwater management for 2 different lots, lots 1 and 5 instead of lots 3 and 4. Number 5, conservation easement. 6, offer of dedication. 7, performance bond for public improvements. 8, agreement for road restoration. 9, easement for snow storage. And 10, any supporting recording documents. Be it further resolved that with respect to the offer of dedication for the road and related public improvements, said offer may be accepted in the future at the town board's discretion only after proper completion of the public improvements to be constructed by Habitat according to the approved plans and inspected and approved by town engineer and the town superintendent of highways. The performance bond for public improvements shall be set in an amount sufficient to ensure prompt and faithful performance of the construction of the public improvements and to ensure the road restoration as set forth in the agreement for road restoration, said amount to be set by the town engineer and approved by the Director of Municipal Development. Such authorization by the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie is subject to the approval of all final documents by the town attorney, planning board attorney, town engineer, and Director of Municipal Development for the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second. Okay, so this is all the package of information then, and approvals that enables Habitat for Humanity to move forward with this 5-lot subdivision on Sunset Avenue in Ward 4, which is going to be veterans housing along the rail trail, so.
And I sat down with the Director of Development and just kind of looked at this project just to prepare myself. And it's at the end of an already very residential area. It's kind of tucked in. It fits the landscape of what's going on in that area already. There are some challenges with some of the way that the terrain is, but I understand it's been in the workings for a while to make sure that the houses are placed in a suitable way in order to work with the habitat that is already there. I think this is going to be a good project.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? I know this has been before the planning board a number of times, and they've been working on it for a while. So, all right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. All right, resolution 11.
10B, right?
10B.
Oh, 10B, sorry, I missed one. There it is, yep.
Resolution 10B, resolution releasing any rights the town may have in certain underdeveloped streets where Habitat for Humanity owns property of Sunset Avenue in Fairview, parcel number starting 134, and here and after the property, and has received conditional approval to subdivide and develop the land, and whereas 1912 map recorded in the county record as filed map 840 showed planned streets in the area, which may or may not have been dedicated to the town, but which were not developed or used by the public, and whereas a later subdivision obviated the need for the previously planned street, and whereas as a part of its recently approved subdivision, Habitat for Humanity will be developing a new street through the property, and whereas the town has no current or foreseeable need for the street mapped in 1912, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie declares any rights it may have in Paper Street on the property to be surplus and no longer of need to the town, and be it further resolved that the extinguishment of such potential rights is not an action subject to SECRA, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute an claim deed in favor of Habitat for Humanity in the same or substantially the same form attached, and be it further resolved that its resolution is adopted subject to the permissive referendum as provided by the law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized and directed to post notice of such a resolution. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have these all over town. I thought of them as ghost streets, but I guess their name is paper streets, right? Where somebody once long ago thought that put little dots and said, well, maybe we'll put a street there sooner or later, and then they never did. So we're extinguishing one of them so that Habitat for Humanity can put a street in the place that makes sense now, as opposed to 1912, where they somehow, I don't know what their plan was in 1912, but it's probably changed, so. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0. All right, and now we have the amended resolution 24, number 11.
Do we do this one first? Or this one on
do the
top?
amended
Oh, the
one.
amended
It's
one
been
first.
amended,
Okay.
yep.
Oh, I see, because we're not doing this one.
Exactly, we
Got
can
it.
just discard that one, yep.
All right, so whereas 53 Salt Point LLC is proposing to redevelop property on the northwest side of the Salt Point Turnpike and Innis Avenue intersection in the town of Poughkeepsie, and whereas the project includes the replacement and relocation of approximately 90 feet of the town wastewater line and associated appurtenances, which replacement and relocation will in turn require that the town of Poughkeepsie enter into a letter agreement with the developer to assure that the town is covered by adequate insurance, as the ability to inspect the removal and replacement of this line and appurtenances at the developer's expense, that all necessary permanent and temporary access agreements and easements are in place, together with other documents which are necessary for the protection of the town's interests regarding the replacement, maintenance, and access to the relocated line and appurtenances.
Sounds good to me.
Sorry.
Now therefore, 3 times, guys, really? Be it resolved that the supervisor and her designees in coordination with the involved town departments be and are hereby authorized to negotiate and execute a letter agreement detailing the above and any other required documentation. So moved.
Second. Okay. All right, so this is a project that was substantially approved in 2023 by the town board and the planning board, so it's
Also in
already
Ward
in
4.
the, it's, yeah, also in Ward 4, yep, it's your night. It is where, you know, it's been moving forward. This involves building a roundabout in front of the developers. The developer's been asked to build a roundabout at Innis and Salt Point to improve traffic flow there as part of the proposal. And we have to just make all the bits and pieces fit together. So, there's also sewer, where, you know, there's moving of sewer lines and things like that to make everything work.
Yeah, and I just want to say, again, this is in Ward 4, and I sat down with Mike Welty and discussed the projects here, and while I agree that the developer should, you know, put in a roundabout to help us with traffic at this area and, you know, incur the costs of the appropriate requirements for sewer hookup, I do just want to say that this is a historic farmland, open space. I know that there's nothing we can do now about this developer paving over this historic space. But I do hope that anything that is built in this space, I hope there is room in order to adhere to the culture of that area of town. And I do think that it's important that we try to move forward and preserve more of this northeast area, because it is the last remaining farmland that ties us back to the history here in Dutchess County. So I will work to do whatever it takes to work with the employees of the town of Poughkeepsie in order to find ways to better serve this community in that area specifically, and try to maintain the history of this space. And I really do hope, as much as it hurts to know that a lot of this is going to get paved over in this specific area, and there's nothing we can do about it at this point, I do hope that there is room for us to showcase a farmer's market or something in this space, at least, to call back to the history. And I just wanted to put that on record.
That's great. And
I did get a few emails as well, just about this, and I'll put them in the summary.
I mean, it's true that this was approved. That doesn't mean we can't continue. It's not built yet. It doesn't mean we can't continue conversations about this particular site and its place in the neighborhood. And I hear you about the comprehensive plans efforts to, protect that northeast section from further out, really further out Salt Turnpike, and I think we should continue working on that for sure.
And I understand the logic of there's so much space that could be revamped, that already exists, that's already paved, that we could turn into housing. And I understand from a lot of developers' perspective, it's much cheaper and faster and easier to use open virgin land. But I would really hope that we could find a way to incentivize developers to use already, underutilized infrastructure that exists. So that's what I would like to do.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the resolution passes 6-0.
Resolution 12 has to do with the Vassar College Prentice Fields. The proposed description is attached. This project would replace and improve 2 existing athletic fields west of Brewers Lane, 1 existing grass field with a newly designed artificial turf field, and a 2nd existing grass field. And there are additional improvements which include related stormwater facilities, expansion of an existing athletic fields parking lot, and installation of amenities including fencing, a storage shed for athletic and maintenance equipment, a scoreboard field, site lighting, and bleachers with a press box. And this resolution is just the town board giving consent to the planning board to act as lead agency for the project. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I'll just say that in my prior term of office, I did recuse myself from anything having to do with Vassar College. As we mentioned at a prior board meeting, I did retire from Vassar College in December, so I will be voting on issues related to Vassar. Not that I think this one's wildly controversial, no. Just to put that on the record, so. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the settlement of the tax surcharge proceedings instituted by Neptune Capital Investors, LLC, owners of properties located in the town of Poughkeepsie at 2 Neptune Road, 6 Neptune Road, and 2275 South Road for the 2022 tax assessment rolls as shown on the attached consent order and judgment. And be further resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor or her designee, town assessor Maureen Gilmartin and Kyle Bartlett of Vanderwater LLP to sign such papers as necessary to effectuate said settlement. So moved.
Second. All right. These occur when, not because the town board voluntarily decides to lower anybody's taxes, but because the town is sued by someone who's seeking to reduce their taxes. And I think we have a pretty good team. Kyle Barnett from Vanderwater is a specialist in this area, and our new assessor, Maureen Gilmartin, our prior assessor, Jennifer Munn, work on these and give us the best negotiation we can. But of course, you're weighing the cost of a long-term tax fight and whether or not you're going to win. There is a conversation ongoing about, and this goes to what Shantha was saying earlier about revenues and such, about how to strengthen the town's position in cases of tax certs. To be honest, they almost all come out of the Spackenkill School District area, and that's the issue is, people trying to lower their school taxes. And there are very few, if it's a individual homeowner, it goes through a sort of small claims grievance process, but these are big developers. And it would be great not to have to lower their taxes. So I think we ought to continue conversations about how to strengthen our defenses from tax cert claims, but we just try to do the best we can in each one. And there's always an impact statement for new board members attached, so we understand what the issues are. So, okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0. Okay, I think we're on to notice of claims referred to legal.
There was 2. Gaskin Hughes versus Town and Williams versus Town. Now
Okay.
we're on to 15, I forget whose turn it is. Isn't it?
Thank you, I think it's
Rebecca's.
mine. Be it resolved that the town board does hereby establish the standard workday for each elective and appointed official, which shall not be less than 6 hours per day, and for employee positions per attached Form RS 2418, be it further resolved that the standard work week shall be Monday through Friday, and the following is a list of the elected officials with their term expiration dates. Not everyone is on here because not everyone is going to be participating in the state pension plan. This is about whether or not people are participating in the pension system. And be it further resolved that the following is a list of the appointed officials with their term expiration date.
No
And
need to read them.
Yeah, do I need to read them?
No,
Okay, good,
no.
all right. I
Not
was
at all.
not gonna read them, okay.
Please, no.
And be it further resolved that commencing May 30th, 2026, the elected and appointed officials named above shall have recorded or will certify a past record, if not in timekeeping system, his or her work activities for a period of 3 consecutive months, which will include matters outside the normal working hours for the purpose of actually attending to official duties, including to responding to an emergency, attending an employer-sponsored event, or meeting with or responding to members of the public on matters of official business, and be it therefore resolved that said records shall be compiled within 150 days of taking office and shall be submitted within 180 days as to meet time frame above to the clerk. And be it resolved that the town clerk is authorized and directed to certify the standard workday and reporting resolution once documentation is received. So moved.
Second.
Okay. And the people who opted out of the system saved themselves like a gazillion and a half hours, because I did this when I was first county legislator, and you have to, just for 3 months, document every single thing you do and how many hours you're working, and, it's a big
And then
pain.
you can recertify that 8 years,
Yep.
and then you have to do it again. Me and Ann have to do ours again, we've hit that point. But I mean, it's basically, it's just a calculation for, retirement, and it's a little bit of work, but it's basically, we have a new board member, we have a new position that we added, we have a legislative aide that we added to our list in the back.
Okay.
So it's just something that we have to do.
And we have a bingo inspector?
We did. We don't anymore.
That would be fun.
Who works a standard workday of 6 hours a day. I don't think we have a bingo inspector.
No,
Not enough bingo.
I'm not quite sure how they come up with these numbers, to be honest, but that's not me.
All right. Okay, are we good?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 6-0. All right,
We're up to
events.
notifications, and I have 2. I have, well, they're both from the same, but the Special Olympics, now have a mobile pool that they're bringing to some locations, and so they're having the New York Polar Plunge, February 27th, 2026, at Marist University, outside of the McCann gym area, I guess, from noon to 2. And then Sunday, March 1st, 2026, at Eastdale Village, from noon to 2. And I have all the certificates of insurance. I didn't know if they were gonna need something from the building department for a large pool, and I have no idea how they're all set.
Can you send me the link for that? Because I think a lot of people might want to go watch people
Well,
jump
here's
into a
the thing,
pool.
also, they're looking
this winter.
they're looking for teams, I believe, so you
Okay.
you can create a team and raise some money and go, just like they used to do in lakes, I guess, but I think they're finding this
All right.
much
We'll-
better.
We'll pass this out. Yeah, I guess that a pool is
If
slightly
anybody
more-
wants any information on it, they can contact me, and I'll give you Suzanne O'Neill's, the Director of Development for Special Olympics info, if you want to create a team.
So for
that's
Special
coming up.
Olympics, you can jump into an Arctic pool.
Yes, you can.
We will advertise that to town residents.
And I know it's a little early, I sent it to Serena, but we also got a flyer from Sparrow's Nest just recently, and March 27th, which happens to be the day we're gonna be closed to cleaning, is a day that they have Dress Down Day, and they sell sweatshirts and T-shirts to raise money for Sparrow's Nest, which is a really great organization. And they've really grown from her kitchen to the large area that they have now in Beekman across from the library. And you can buy some sweatshirts, and I think we're gonna pass it around and see if anybody in town hall wants to, and then we could wear them on the day we are closed and clean. But I have some from years ago, and they're green, and now they have a different color, so I'll have to get some new ones, but.
Okay.
Just thought I'd
great.
mention
So we
that
can all
too.
get a Sparrow's Nest T-shirt or sweatshirt.
It's a really good organization.
Okay. Yeah, no, they're a terrific organization.
Yep, so now we go to
supporting-
17, and
Okay.
that would be Barb, I think.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items, to wit, to set a February 18th public hearing for a community development block grant. be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, we could remove this item from the list and vote on it separately.
That second part, we really only need when we
There's
have
only
more
one.
than one
Yeah.
item
Yeah.
here, but,
Yeah.
so,
let's do this at the
yeah,
last
we're
minute,
basically
so-
voting to consider, the special consent item number one, because it was not on, it's a last minute item, so. All those in favor? Aye.
Do we
Any
have a
opposed?
second?
I seconded it.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, I just didn't hear.
All right. Resolution passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Okay, and, yes, go right ahead if you want.
Do you have something to say, or?
Well, yeah, I have details afterwards, but basically, this is just authorizing the public hearing so we can apply for the Community Development Block Grant Program, so.
Okay. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 18th day of February 2026 at 7 p.m. at the town hall, town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overoka Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the date, time, and place of the public hearing to consider and thereafter vote on acceptance of grant money for certain improvements for the County of Dutchess through the Community Development Block Grant Program for the year 2026, of which the town of Poughkeepsie is a member. So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we need to be specific about those projects before the public hearing, and we're getting that material together. If at least one of your community development block grant applications is about housing, you can submit two. So we're proposing two. One is for work at the Poughkeepsie Day School site for ADA compliance, so that site is fully ADA compliant. This site is not. The lower level is not at all ADA compliant. The north side, upper levels iffy. So we'd be able to, in terms of parking and sinks in the bathrooms and so forth, make sure that that's ADA compliant. The second project would be to work with the Poughkeepsie Dutchess Land Bank on a project that is a property in the town that is derelict and vacant, and which the town has authorized the demolition of that house. It would instead, we would be working with the land bank to do the demolition and purchase, and be able to demolish that house and turn it into affordable housing, which is a really exciting project, but we have to work out the details with the land bank, but we should be able to get that out in a week ahead of the public hearing, so.
Is that the
so all the
property on
details.
Vassar Road?
It is, yes. So we need to make sure we can get all those details straight, but those are the two that we would be having the public hearing on, and we need to do this now, in time to apply for those grants. To thank you to Trevor Rettle, who made sure that we get this done on time, so. All right, any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 6-0. We now open the floor for public discussion on any item that people may want to discuss, whether or not it was on the agenda tonight. So I move that we suspend the rules for public comment.
Oh, second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 6-0. So for public comment of up to 3 minutes, the floor is open. Is there anyone in the room who wanted to speak first? All right, yes. Welcome.
Hi. So I just would like to say a couple more things. Number one, I'd like to say that thank you for Shantha for bringing up the politics, playing politics, and, nobody wants to, admit that sometimes it is politics. I mean, you're elected and people vote certain ways and they go certain ways based on their parties. I mean, we're all adults here and we can all be realistic about that. So, thank you for saying that and being transparent about it and wanting what's best for the constituents. When I was up on that board, I felt the same way. I wanted to do what's best for my constituents, and I think everybody does. But when you run an entire campaign opposing one thing and then propose that same thing 2 years later, that's playing politics. So it's hard for me to really, wrap my head around the fact that, again, the campaign was run one way and here we are at the same place. So people just need to be crystal clear that the move to Poughkeepsie Day School that was gonna happen 2 years ago, The original plan was to buy the entire property, the entire parcel, not just this one parcel that they're planning on buying now. Therefore, had we done that 2 years ago, we would have owned the theater and the sports fields and both buildings. So all those things we would have already owned. It was, you know, a different setup. Now PDS is proposing a different thing. They don't want to sell it all. Fair enough, right? But the reason we didn't buy it back then was because the administration changed. Supervisor Edwards exited the purchase agreement. She didn't agree with it. And I quote, based on her campaign materials, should Poughkeepsie hike property taxes so town board members can get offices in a mansion? Isn't that what's happening?
No, actually, Town Hall will go into the classroom building, not into the Kenyon House mansion.
Okay, well.
Poughkeepsie Day School will be operating in the mansion.
Theoretically. So property taxes will go up, town hall will move. And so, you know, the taxes, the same thing's gonna happen, it's just a different frame. So let's not get it twisted. 2 years ago, in fact, legislator Call, who tonight spoke in favor of the plan, said the complete opposite 2 years ago. 2 years ago, she came to this microphone and specifically said it would be irresponsible to raise taxes by 10% because residents can't afford an increase like that. And yet here we are doing the same exact thing. So it's not that the police, we know the police need to move. They've always needed to move. Taxes are always going to go up. You can always count on taxes going up. And with a move like that, they're always going to go up. But you can't run an entire campaign saying one thing and then doing something, the same thing 2 years later. It's just not trustworthy and it's not transparent. The police moving is long overdue. No one's debating that. But please remember that the police would be in their new home by now. They would have already been in a beautiful new state-of-the-art facility on the Poughkeepsie Day School site, the same site that they're going to purchase now. And if the board really cared about the police, they would be giving them the facility that they deserve, not jamming them into this old building.
We're at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Perfect. Thanks very much. Is there anyone else in the room who wanted to speak? I see Doreen online. Welcome, Doreen. Uh-oh. I can't hear. We can't. If you're speaking, Doreen, we can't hear you.
Okay, all right,
There you
sorry,
are.
thank you.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, good. So, Steve Oskerlies earlier talked about a report, and I believe he was talking about the Mitchell report. And they had in April of 2022 actually written a letter to the Poughkeepsie Day School regarding, it says, observations at roof of Gilkinson Building, and it was a notice of unsafe conditions. So they were concerned enough to notify the school about what they thought was a serious problem with a roof, and they recommended that something be done about it quickly. So that's what the condition of the roof was back in 2022. And the other thing was, Supervisor, when you had said about a referendum and that that would take time, you were talking about just a referendum as to the bonding and not a permissive referendum, I'm guessing, because for those that don't know, a permissive referendum is where voters can challenge a government on an action that they may be concerned about and they need to file a valid petition. But Agenda Item 8C said this resolution is adopted subject to permissive referendum. So I just wanted to clarify that.
That's correct. But I do believe that purchase of this property is time sensitive. So just to go back to the roof issue for a second, the drains on the roof were clogged at that time, and there was a leak on the roof because they were not, a lot of the drains were either clogged or not working, and so the pictures show a lot of water. And PDS did at that time drain the roof. There's still some issues. There's definitely still some issues with the roof. The roof is the most expensive thing that needs to be fixed over there. But I believe that the lake was largely resolved at that time.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you very much. Anyone else in the room? Yes, go ahead.
On behalf of Star to Be, I'd like to thank you all for listening tonight. And if you'd be so inclined, we have prepared a one-pager for you that we would like to hand out, just to let you a little bit more about us.
That's great. You can give that to Felicia Salvatore, the town clerk, and she'll make sure that we all get one.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much, and good luck with the second weekend of Sweeney Todd. Thanks. I believe Mr. Sanderson is online. Welcome.
Hi, it's actually Susan Sanderson.
Oh, hi.
And, hi. I just want to say that I think it's great that you're using a local firm like Labella, because they have skin in the game. The last group that was used, I think they were someplace in Buffalo or something, and they had Syracuse, Buffalo, I might be mistaken in the exact place. But I remember that they had to be paid to come down here each time they wanted to present something or talk. These are people who are right here for the town of Poughkeepsie, and also people who have to face their face people. They'll see them in the supermarket, they'll see them at Adams, they'll see them all over, and people know them and will stop them to ask them questions. I used to be the head of the planning department for the city of Poughkeepsie, so I know what it is to have skin in the game and to have people that architects and engineers who are local that have to face you and answer to you and not just run back after the project's over and never have to say anything again, for good or for bad. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks. Just to clarify, Labella is a large firm. They do have a Poughkeepsie office, and we are working with Labella representatives who are in Poughkeepsie. We're also working with some folks from Rochester, but they have a lot of experience with police stations. The Poughkeepsie Day School project through CPL is the town engineer, and so there will be the folks who work with us day in and day out and will continue working with us or helping with that because it's a much smaller project. So just for information's sake. Yes, I believe it's Mr. Krakauer.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I guess I'm confused about the false sense of urgency where that it has to be done right away and there's no time to get more public input. This property's been for sale for a long time, so I don't know where it's all of a sudden you got to get it done right away. And the idea that it just fell from the sky, you guys kind of tripped over it on your way in the front door. It didn't really fall from the sky. It wasn't something new. So I don't know why is there a rush to have to close immediately?
So the entire property had been for sale back a few years back, but recently PDS had been marketing the Kenyon House Mansion, which for the reasons we talked about earlier was not really a suitable site for a town hall. They were not planning to sell the other portions of the property, but only the Kenyon House Mansion. In December, for a variety of different reasons, they changed their mind and decided that they wanted to, in the midst of a subdivision, to sell the Gilkison building. And I do believe that that was time sensitive, the capacity to purchase that part and the soccer field as well.
So is Poughkeepsie Day School going out of business then if they're not going to have location?
They are moving to the Kenyon House, which is why that portion of the property is not for sale. They are shifting from the Gilkison building to the Kenyon House Mansion and continuing operations there.
Right. And I think the third ward councilman was on point where he called out politicians who were sitting there who were opposed to at one point, now in favor of it and flipping based on politics. I think you should look at things based on what it is and not what party you're at. And honestly, I've never really liked that location. So I do still think it is a bad location. And the reality is the price went up, it didn't go down. So I think it makes it worse, not better. And then I think the councilwoman had mentioned the IBM Country Club and how that would have been a fantastic thing way back when. That all in with full renovations and everything else was about under 10 million. And I do believe Councilwoman Shearshin was completely opposed to that at that time. So there was opposition to that. So it seems no matter what is proposed, somebody's going to be opposed. Somebody's going to complain about it. But the IBM Country Club would have been ideal. But it did have its opponents, and Councilwoman Shearshin was one of the vocal ones.
So
sorry, Stefan, I wasn't on the board then. That was when Pat Myers was supervisor.
Right, you weren't on the board, but you were vocally opposed to it, and you reiterated that to me many times.
All right. The price for the whole property in 2022 was 8 million. The proposed price we have as we are going to contract now for this portion of the price, of the property is 6.6. So, all right, everyone. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak in the room, online? Was everybody ready to go home? All right, thank you for your patience, thank you for your input, thank you for the conversation, really appreciate all the input, and wish everyone a good night and stay warm out there, okay? Take care. Oh,
Yeah,
I need a vote to adjourn. I
We have
move
to
to
vote to go
adjourn
back
at
to-
9:30 PM.
Regular
Oh.
session.
Regular session.
So, go back to,
Oh, yeah, I move that we move back into regular session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I move at 9:30 PM that we adjourn.
thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, Felicia. I just ran out of gas there about 2 minutes before the end. Thanks.